Home prices are getting ready to explode in this secret Florida neighborhood that I'm in right now. So we just got hit with 2 major hurricanes within 2 weeks, and every time we have a hurricane heading towards Florida, my parents call me from Michigan and say,
"You're all gonna die. Get out of Florida now."
Not because they're paranoid people, but that's what the media is showing the rest of the country. So I wanted to walk you through this neighborhood and show you exactly what happened after both hurricanes. And this neighborhood actually stayed high and dry. And that's what makes it one of the most desirable neighborhoods in St. Petersburg, Florida. And it just happens to be my neighborhood. So here's the truth the media is not talking about. The majority of the neighborhoods away from the coast and the beaches in St. Pete did not flood. Our house went through both hurricanes and took on 0 water. So when we decided to move here 16 months ago, we told our realtor we want no flood zones. We want nothing to do with that. So he told us, okay, you need to stay out of flood zone A. And that is the flood zone that the people that live on the coast or the islands around St. Pete are in. And that means they're the first ones to flood in a storm. He also told us we did not want to live in shore acres. Now this is the first we heard of this, but it's a small little neighborhood in St. Petersburg that is prone to flooding. So we scratched that right off the list to begin with. And one of the good things was we didn't have on the water kind of money, so that actually worked out perfect, so we could scratch that off the list too. So we knew no flood zones. We knew we wanted a no evacuation zone. That meant anytime a storm rolls through, we don't have to evacuate. And that was big on our list too. But here's one of the things I absolutely had to have. I had to have these brick-lined streets. When I saw these, I fell in love with them, and I told my wife, I'm like, listen, we gotta live on one of these brick-lined streets. They're absolutely beautiful. And I love these limestone curbs. It's just, you really can't beat it. It just looks so beautiful. And you can see in this picture, man, it's just incredible here. And one of the other things I had to have was palm trees. Had to have those in the yard. I absolutely love palm trees. Coming from Michigan, we didn't have those up there, so I fell in love with palm trees down here. We also started looking for one of the highest elevations in the city because we knew that would bring us out of the flood zone, bring us out of an evacuation zone. And that's how we found this neighborhood that we are in right here that we moved to, called Central Oak Park, or COP for short. Now the average build age for homes in this neighborhood is around 1960, so it's older style homes. And the price range is gonna be anywhere from $300,000 up to $500,000, obviously depending on the size of the home and the finishes. And that might sound like a lot, but really, for St. Pete, that's not bad. It was really pretty inexpensive. So we didn't flood here, but we did get damage. We got a lot of tree damage in both hurricanes. We had a lot of winds, we had a lot of shingles off of roofs, and we personally had a tree fall in each hurricane. My neighbor on the left, their tree fell and fell on our fence between our houses in the first hurricane. And the neighbor on the right had their tree fall in the second hurricane. Guess where? Right on our fence. Cool thing was, both neighbors, it was their trees. They picked them up, cleaned them up, we helped, and they put the fence back together. Now for the second hurricane, we were in Peru, my wife and I. So we didn't even have to experience that, which was a blessing. But we had our neighbor watching our house, and he said the power never went off. We did put up storm shutters. We even never lost Wi-Fi in the first or second hurricane, and our neighbor ended up jumping on our Wi-Fi because his went out. Now the worst part of that second hurricane was no water. They had to shut the water down for a day, and they also shut down the wastewater treatment plants. That meant you couldn't use the toilet. If you flushed it, they weren't bringing it through the pipes, so it's just gonna keep backing up and it'll back up into your home. So that sucked, but I was glad we were gone and in Peru for that one. So my wife and I are now hurricane veterans in Florida, and we've decided this is what we're gonna do from now on. If we take a direct hit with a hurricane and it's a category 3 or higher, we're gonna board up the house, board up the windows, and we're gonna grab the cat and we're gonna leave, go somewhere out of the path of the hurricane for about a week. So I want to talk about why home values are going to explode here. With that first hurricane came flooding, and a lot of people on the coast, man, their houses flooded, they lost everything. My heart goes out to those people. And a lot of them said, hey, we're done with flood zones. We're done living on the coast or in Shore Acres. Shore Acres has flooded probably 4 times in the last year. And that's not just because of hurricanes. It's also they flood out because of rain. So many people are saying, I don't want to leave Florida. I don't want to leave St. Pete. They love St. Pete, just like us, that they want to get out of that flood zone. So this happens to be one of the best kept secrets in St. Pete because not a lot of people are talking about Central Oak Park. It's a no flood zone. It's a no evac zone. And it's the highest, one of the highest points in the city. So it's extremely desirable right now for people that want to get that flooding out of their lives. So think of it this way. St. Petersburg, Florida is a peninsula on the peninsula of Florida. So it's surrounded by water. So to get away from those flood zones, what do you have to do? You have to come to the center of St. Pete if you still want to experience everything St. Pete has to offer. And that's where we're at. So one of the best things I love about Central Oak Park is it has Central Avenue running right through the center of it. And that's the main street in St. Petersburg. You can take that downtown or to the beach. And to do that, St. Pete has a great public transportation system called the Sunrunner. And it's basically a bus. And there's 2 stops, actually 4 stops in Central Oak Park, 2 going east and 2 going west. And they'll take you downtown, man. You can go catch a Rays game, grab some dinner. You can go to the pier, or you go the other way and it'll take you out to the beach, have a great time, and come on back. You don't need to drive. We jump on the Sunrunner and use it all the time. There's also a lot of restaurants that are pushing away from the Grand Central District out to where we live. And now once that really starts happening and we start getting a lot more restaurants and bars and things like that coming down Central, which will happen, this place is gonna explode. Now here's what's really gonna make this neighborhood take off. This is a brand new build, and that was a vacant infill lot they just built on. Now this thing's marked pending at $750,000. So you're gonna see a lot more of these new builds popping up, and you're also gonna see a lot of these older homes being tore down and built like this. Because this in the future is what the neighborhood's gonna look like. It's just gonna take some time to get there. So this is one of the largest, least talked about neighborhoods in St. Pete. It's really our little hidden gem. If you're interested in buying a house in Florida and want some more insider tips from me about buying right and buying in the right location, then check out this next video. I'll give you all the information nobody else is talking about. I'll see you there.